Listen up, this isn't a feel-good pep talk. I'm here to warn you. You're standing on the edge of something big, but most of you won't hear it. Or worse, you'll hear it and do nothing, because that's what everyone does. They hear, they nod, they forget. I don't want that for you. You need to hear this right now, because if you don't, you'll wake up years from now stuck in the exact same place, wondering where your time went. This isn't a game. This isn't a motivational clip you play for a quick dopamine hit and then forget about. This is a wake-up call, and the truth is, most people won't listen. They'll nod along, maybe even feel a spark for a moment, but tomorrow they'll be back to the same cycle. Hit snooze, scroll, complain, repeat. And that cycle is a coffin with the lid wide open. You're either going to climb out now or bury yourself alive in it. The warning is simple. Your life is slipping, one decision at a time. You think you're safe because nothing catastrophic has happened yet, but that's the lie comfort tells you. Comfort whispers, you've got time, you can start later, you'll figure it out someday. That's the same lie that has stolen millions of dreams, crushed potential, and left people living lives they never wanted. Let me be blunt. Nobody is coming to save you, not your boss, not your family, not your government, not even luck. You're waiting for some magical moment, some big break, some easy path. It's not coming. What's coming is regret, unless you make the decision right here, right now, to break the cycle. Think about it. Every second you delay is another second your future self is screaming at you, begging you to take action. But here's the kicker. Most people ignore that voice. Most people push it down with distractions, with comfort food, with Netflix, with endless scrolling. They numb it until it dies, and when that voice dies, the dream dies with it. Don't let that happen. You have to understand something deep. The distance between who you are and who you want to be isn't measured in years. It's measured in decisions. Every single choice you make today either moves you closer to that life or pushes you further away. You're either building the foundation of your future or digging a deeper hole of mediocrity. There's no neutral. There's no standing still. You're either rising or sinking, and let me tell you the brutal truth. Most won't rise. They'll hear this, they'll feel a chill run through them, and then they'll go right back to autopilot. They'll hit the same alarm tomorrow, drag themselves through the same routine, and wonder why nothing changes. But the few, the rare few, will hear this and decide enough. I'm done sleepwalking. Those are the ones who will own their mornings, their decisions, their lives. Those are the ones who will go from invisible to undeniable. You've got to ask yourself right now, are you going to be most people, or are you going to be the rare one? Are you going to be another face lost in the crowd, or are you going to step up and take control of your life? The world isn't waiting for you. The world doesn't care if you succeed or fail. The world doesn't owe you anything. But if you step into your power, if you decide to lead yourself, suddenly everything changes. Opportunities open up, people notice, doors unlock. But it all starts with you refusing to ignore the call. Let me make this real for you. Picture yourself 10 years from now. 2 possible futures. In the first, you ignored this warning. You stayed in your comfort zone. You kept postponing your potential. 10 years later, you're older, stuck, bitter, and full of what-ifs. That version of you is heavy with regret, because deep down, you knew you could have been more, but you never had the courage to act. Now picture the second future. You heard this warning, and instead of shrugging it off, you acted. You treated it as the line in the sand. You built discipline where there was laziness, clarity where there was confusion, hunger where there was apathy. You stacked small wins until they built momentum. 10 years later, you don't just recognize yourself, you respect yourself. You became the kind of person others look at and say, how did they do it? And the truth is simple, you listened and you acted. That's the fork in the road you're standing at right now. And the hard part, the decision isn't dramatic. It's not a big event. It's not fireworks or trumpets. It's a quiet choice you make in your mind right now. And that choice gets reinforced tomorrow morning and the next day and the next. You either honor it or you betray it. But here's the thing. You don't need more time, more money, more connections, or more luck. You need more urgency. You need to stop treating life like a rehearsal and start treating it like the main stage, because it is. This is it. This is your shot, and wasting it is the most dangerous mistake you could ever make. So here's the final word. Wake up. Not tomorrow, not next week, not someday. Right now. Hear this warning and let it cut through the fog. Let it jolt you awake. Most people won't. Most people will walk away unchanged. But you don't have to be most people. Decide, act, push through the resistance, because if you do, the future version of you will look back on this moment and say, this was the day everything shifted. This is your urgent wake-up call, and the only question left is, will you answer it? You want to know the difference between staying where you are and completely transforming your life. It comes down to one thing, whether you're willing to believe that the person you dream of becoming actually exists, and whether you're willing to fight for them every single day. Because here's the truth, that future version of you is real. They're already out there, waiting for you, but most people will never meet that version. They'll die as the person they were, not the person they could have been, and that's the tragedy I refuse to let you accept. Right now, you may feel stuck, invisible, behind on life. You may look at others and wonder how they're pulling it off while you keep spinning your wheels. But let me give you the promise, it doesn't have to stay that way. Transformation is possible. The shift from zero to unstoppable is possible. And the gap between the life you have and the life you want is smaller than you think. But it requires one thing, commitment. Here's what most people don't realize. Transformation doesn't happen because you got lucky or because the universe randomly decided to bless you. Transformation happens because you decided to no longer tolerate mediocrity. You drew the line and said, I refuse to stay the same. And when you say that with enough conviction, your entire reality starts to bend. People notice, energy shifts, doors you thought were locked suddenly swing open. It's not magic, it's alignment. When you act like the person you want to become, the world has no choice but to treat you like that person. Now let me be clear, the road isn't easy. If it were, everyone would take it. That's why most won't even try. They'll watch from the sidelines, they'll envy, they'll gossip, they'll doubt. And that's fine, because transformation isn't for everyone. It's only for the few who are willing to sacrifice who they are for who they could be. It's only for those who understand that discomfort is the price of progress. But let me promise you this, if you're willing to pay that price, the return is infinite. Imagine this, a year from now, you wake up in the life you designed instead of the life you settled for. You've built the body, the mindset, the business, the relationships. You're living on purpose. People ask you how you did it, and you smile because you know the answer isn't some secret trick. The answer is that you finally decided to take control. That's the promise of transformation. It doesn't just change what you have, it changes who you are, and once you change who you are, nothing can ever take that away. The problem is, most people think transformation is some giant leap, when in reality it's a series of small, daily decisions. It's waking up earlier than you feel like. It's saying no when comfort calls your name. It's showing up when nobody else is watching. Every single time you do that, you stack bricks. One day you look around and realize you've built something massive. You've built yourself into someone who commands respect, someone who leads, someone who refuses to break. That's the person you're capable of becoming. And let me tell you something else. You don't transform by waiting until you feel ready. You transform by moving before you're ready. You'll never feel fully prepared. You'll never feel like the timing is perfect. That's the trick your brain plays to keep you safe, to keep you small. But if you leap before you're ready, you'll discover that you've had wings this whole time. You just never used them. The promise I'm giving you isn't just that you can have more money, more status, more success. Those things are surface level. The real promise is deeper. It's freedom. It's waking up and knowing you're not living someone else's script. You're living your own. It's the confidence of knowing that no matter what life throws at you, you can adapt, rebuild, rise again. That's true transformation. And once you've experienced it, you can never go back to the old version of you. But you have to choose it. Nobody can choose it for you. And here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Transformation is lonely at first. You'll lose people. You'll outgrow environments. You'll face resistance from those who don't want you to change. But let me promise you, every ounce of pain is worth it, because what you gain on the other side is priceless. You gain respect for yourself. You gain control over your destiny. You gain a life where you don't just survive, you dominate. So let this sink in. The gap between zero and everything you want is not measured in luck, time, or connections. It's measured in courage. It's measured in how much discomfort you're willing to endure for the life you actually want. That's the price, and if you're willing to pay it, transformation isn't just possible. It's inevitable. This isn't about hype. This isn't about feeling good for a few minutes. This is about making a promise to yourself right now. I will not leave this world as the same person I entered it. I will not settle for average. I will not ignore my potential, because if you make that promise and back it up with action, your life will shift in ways you can't even imagine yet. That's the power of transformation. And the only thing standing between you and it is the decision to start. People follow authority, but real authority doesn't come from fancy titles, followers, or some certificate hanging on your wall. Real authority comes from authenticity, because you can't fake what you've lived through. You can't fake scars. You can't fake the nights you stayed up wondering if you'd ever make it. You can't fake the battles that broke you down and rebuilt you stronger. That's where authority is born, not in pretending but in proving. Most people try to look like they've made it before they've even started. They post the highlight reels, the rented cars, the staged lifestyles, thinking that's what will make people respect them. But here's the truth. People might like the show for a minute, but they don't trust it, because deep down everyone can smell fake. You might fool a few, but the moment life tests you, the mask falls off. And when it does, you're exposed. That's why authenticity always wins in the long run. Authority comes from being the person who has lived what they're talking about. When you speak from the trenches, people lean in. When you talk about climbing out of zero, about building when no one was watching, about fighting when quitting looked easier, that hits different. That's when your words carry weight, not because they sound polished, but because they're real. And real will always cut deeper than perfect. Let me tell you something. People don't need another lecture. They don't need more theory. They need proof. Proof that someone just like them can rise up, can break the cycle, can beat the odds. Proof that pain doesn't have to end in defeat. And when you show up raw, when you own your story without shame, you become that proof. That's where your authority comes from. That's when people look at you and think, if they can do it, maybe I can too. But here's the challenge. Authenticity isn't easy. It means being real about your losses, not just your wins. It means being vulnerable enough to admit you didn't always have it figured out. It means showing the cracks in your armor so people understand the price of the battle. Most won't do that. Most want to protect their ego. They think showing weakness makes them lose respect, when in reality, hiding weakness makes them forgettable. The strongest leaders are the ones who show the whole picture, the victories and the wounds. Authority through authenticity isn't about being flawless. It's about being undeniable. When you walk into a room, people can sense it. You've been through something. You've earned your voice. You've got a presence that can't be bought. That doesn't come from trying to impress. It comes from living the truth and speaking it with conviction. And here's what's powerful. When you build authority this way, nobody can take it from you. Money can be lost. Status can fade. Markets can shift. But authenticity, that's permanent. You don't have to remember a script. You don't have to pretend. You just have to be who you are, and that's more than enough, because people crave real. They are starving for it in a world drowning in filters and fakeness. Think about it. Who do you listen to more? The person who's read about the fight, or the person who's been in the fight? You want advice on building wealth, you'll listen to the one who started with nothing, not the one who inherited it. You want to learn discipline. You'll trust the one who rebuilt their life from failure, not the one who got it handed to them. Authenticity builds trust, and trust builds authority. Without it, your voice is just noise. This is the problem most people have. They're so busy trying to look like someone else. They forget the one thing that makes them powerful, their own story. The exact thing they're ashamed of, the exact struggle they want to hide, is the very thing that could inspire thousands. That's the irony. Your greatest authority is buried inside the moments you thought disqualified you. But when you own those moments, they stop being chains and start being credentials. Authority isn't about being untouchable. It's about being relatable. People don't connect with perfection. They connect with humanity. They connect with the raw truth of someone who's been knocked down, bled, and still stood back up. That's what makes people listen. That's what makes people follow. And that's what builds a legacy that lasts longer than hype ever could. So stop chasing approval. Stop trying to look polished. Stop trying to impress the crowd. Start owning your story, all of it. The ugly, the painful, the mistakes, the rebuild. Because when you do, you step into a level of authority no title can give you. You become someone whose presence is felt, not because you demanded attention, but because you've earned it. In the end, authority through authenticity means you don't have to convince people you're real. They already know. You don't have to shout for respect, it comes naturally. You don't have to compete with anyone else. You stand in a lane only you can own, and that's the most powerful position you can ever be in. The world doesn't need another copy. It doesn't need another fake guru. It doesn't need another highlight reel. It needs the real you, the one with the scars, the lessons, the fire. That's where your true authority lies. And once you step into that, you'll never need to prove yourself again. The silence is what kills most people. Not failure, not rejection, not even the critics. It's the silence. The space where nothing happens, where no one is clapping, where nobody cares if you show up or not. That's the place most people can't handle, and that's why they never rise. You start something new, an idea, a hustle, a routine. At first, you're fired up. You imagine the applause, the attention, the results. But then reality hits. Weeks go by, no one notices, no one validates you. Your effort feels invisible, and that silence, it starts whispering lies in your ear. What's the point? Nobody cares. Maybe you're not good enough. Maybe this isn't working. That's where dreams go to die, not in explosions, but in quiet surrender. If you can't confront the silence, you'll never break through. Because the truth is, the silence is the test. It's the universe asking, do you want this bad enough to keep going when no one's watching? Do you want this bad enough to keep grinding when there's no proof yet? Do you want this bad enough to stay hungry even when nobody believes in you? That's the moment that separates the few from the masses. Most people fold. They crave attention more than results. They want validation more than progress. So when the silence stretches on, they quit. They think it's a sign they're failing, when in reality, it's just part of the process. Silence is not proof that nothing's happening. It's proof that you're still in the early stages. It's the gap between planting and harvesting. The ones who endure that gap are the ones who eventually win. You've got to understand, when nobody's clapping for you, that's the time to clap for yourself. When no one's paying attention, that's the time to double down. Because silence isn't punishment, it's preparation. It's the stage before the spotlight, the grind before the recognition. And if you can push through it, you'll be unstoppable. But you can't sugarcoat this. It's brutal. Waking up early with no audience, putting in hours of work that feel invisible, sacrificing while everyone else is relaxing, that silence will tempt you to believe nothing matters, but every rep counts. Every small step stacks. Every invisible day is laying bricks you can't see yet. And one day, you'll look up and realize the silence was building the foundation for everything that comes after. Think about it. Every success story you admire went through seasons of silence. The author who wrote for years before anyone cared, The entrepreneur who worked in a garage while the world ignored them. The athlete who trained before dawn when nobody was watching. Their silence wasn't a signal to stop, it was the price they had to pay to earn the noise later. So here's the challenge. Can you confront it? Can you live through the season where nobody validates you? Can you keep moving without applause? Can you be your own motivator, your own fan, your own believer when nobody else is around? Because if you can, you're already ahead of 99% of people. Here's the shift you need to make. Stop fearing the silence. Embrace it, use it, because silence means freedom. It means you're not under the microscope. It means you get to fail quietly, learn privately, and grow without the pressure of eyes watching your every move. Silence is where you sharpen your blade, so that when the moment comes, you're ready to cut through everything in your way. But if you're addicted to attention, you'll never survive it. That's why most people quit. They confuse lack of applause with lack of progress. They can't handle the idea that growth happens underground before it ever shows above the surface. They want results now, and when they don't see them, they walk away. Don't walk away, stay, fight, confront the silence head on, look it in the eye and say, I'm not going anywhere. Because once you outlast the silence, the noise will come, and it will come loud. People will act like they always believed in you. They'll ask how you did it. They'll pretend they were watching all along. But you'll know the truth. You were alone. You stayed consistent. And you survived the silence that crushed everyone else. So if you're in that season right now, if it feels like nobody notices, nobody supports, nobody cares, understand this. That's exactly where you're supposed to be. This is the proving ground. This is where you build the discipline, the grit, the resilience that will carry you into everything you want. Don't resent it, respect it, because silence isn't the enemy, quitting is. The silence is the filter that separates those who dream from those who do. Anyone can talk about success, anyone can start, but only a few can keep showing up in the dead quiet when nobody's cheering. That's where greatness is born, so confront it, don't run from it, don't let it break you. Because if you can handle the silence now, the noise later won't just validate you. It'll prove you were built for it all along. This is the moment where words either die in your ears or ignite something inside you. Because let's be honest, what good is listening if you don't move? What good is motivation if it fades the second the video ends? You don't need another dose of inspiration. You don't need another quote. You need to act, and the truth is, most people won't. They'll listen, they'll nod, they'll even agree. But they'll stay the same. Don't be most people. You've been fed enough information. You know what you should do. You know the habits you need to break, the goals you've been postponing, the discipline you keep avoiding. It's not lack of knowledge holding you back, it's lack of action. And if you don't change that right now, you're going to wake up one day drowning in regret, wondering how you let your shot slip through your hands. This is the call to action. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel like it. Now, because the truth is, you'll never feel like it. The moment you wait for the perfect time, the perfect conditions, the perfect plan, you've already lost. There is no perfect time. There is only now, and the longer you hesitate, the weaker your resolve becomes. Action builds clarity. Action builds momentum. Action is the cure for every excuse you've ever had, but let's make this real. Action doesn't mean you overhaul your entire life overnight. That's the lie that keeps people frozen. Action means you take the next step, the uncomfortable, inconvenient, unglamorous next step. Wake up earlier, make that call, write that page, save that money, hit that workout. It's not about being flawless. It's about being relentless. The compounding effect of small, consistent actions will do more for you than waiting on one big leap that never comes. Most people don't fail because they can't succeed. They fail because they never start. They keep rehearsing the future in their head, convincing themselves they're preparing, when in reality, they're just stalling. Preparation without execution is procrastination dressed up in nice clothes. Stop hiding behind "I'm getting ready." You're not getting ready. You're avoiding the work, and the only way out is action. Think about this. Every great life, every great business, every great story started with one person saying, I'm done waiting. That's it. One decision, one moment where someone drew the line and said, from this day forward, I move. And that decision didn't just change their life, it rippled into everything around them, family, friends, generations. That's the power sitting in front of you right now. Don't underestimate what one bold action can do. That conversation you've been avoiding could unlock a new path. That idea you've been sitting on could change your financial future. That habit you've been ignoring could transform your health. But none of it happens until you decide to stop thinking about it and start doing it. And here's the harsh truth. You can't outsource this. Nobody is coming to push the button for you. Nobody's going to drag you into your potential. This is on you, your choices, your habits, your courage. You can watch 1,000 videos, read 100 books, but until you put your skin in the game, nothing changes. Inspiration without action is entertainment, and entertainment doesn't change lives. So here's what I'm telling you. Make today the line in the sand. Decide that you're done being average. Decide that you're done being passive. Decide that you're done watching from the sidelines. The clock is running whether you act or not, and one day you'll either look back proud of what you did or broken by what you didn't. Which side you land on depends on what you do right now. Stop overthinking, stop doubting, stop scrolling, start moving. Take that energy you're feeling in this moment and pour it into something real. Don't let it fade, anchor it with action. Because once you take the first step, the second becomes easier. And once you take the second, you build momentum. And once momentum takes over, you become unstoppable. This is not a suggestion. This is not a gentle nudge. This is a demand for your own life from your own future self. Get up, do the thing you've been avoiding, break the cycle you've been stuck in, build the discipline you've been lacking. Don't just hear the call, answer it. And if you're wondering whether you're ready, let me give you the truth. You're never ready. You get ready by starting. You become ready through the process. You grow into the person who can handle it by actually doing it. So the question isn't, am I ready? The question is, am I willing? And if the answer is yes, then nothing can stop you. This is your call to action, the moment you'll either remember as the turning point or regret as another missed chance. Don't waste it. Move, act, decide, because the life you want isn't waiting for you. It's waiting on you. So here's the part where most of you will leave, where you'll say, yeah, that was good, and go back to routine. Don't be like most people. Let this be the moment you decide, I'm not just hearing, I'm acting.